Perro, back with another action figure review. Today on the Spider-Man Origin Signature Series Green Goblin. Alright, so what you see here is nothing but box, and we're going to go over it quickly. It's basically in the same style as the one we saw before with Green Goblin on the side. On the back we got some figures. Again, we've already taken a look at Spider-Man. Next will be Dr. Octopus. Green Goblin we're looking at today in black suit. And we got a prototype of the figure right there, which looks kind of ugly. A lot different than the one we actually have, and I promise it does not look like that. It actually looks a lot better. And we got this interesting read up, which we're going to go ahead and read to you guys, since it's different than your standard Spider-Man Origin. Alright, so it says, driven mad by the same chemical infusion that granted him his incredible strength and intelligence, Norman Osborn became obsessed with the destruction of Spider-Man, so determined in his plotting that Spider-Man sometimes thinks of the Green Goblin as his personal curse. His influence of the history of Spider-Man is so persuasive that it is difficult to point out a painfully defining moment in a hero's career in which the Green Goblin did not have some hand. From the tragic death of Peter Parker's first love to the loss of his child, Osborn has been there, looming in the shadows, a crackling demented specter, clutching a ticking pumpkin bomb as the smoke from his glider exhaust obscures the web slinger's future. So yeah, kind of a dark reader, really cool. Now let's take a look at the actual figure. Alright, so here we have the Green Goblin, looking way better than his prototype that we saw in the back of the box. Absolutely great looking. Definitely captures the look of the comics, really well done. Starting with the head sculpt, really demonic looking, just straight up, just comic book styled. It looks absolutely great. Looks just like in the John Romita Sr. comics. Really cool looking. As I mentioned before, really big grin across his face, so the teeth are sculpted in, just white. There's no actual detail. Most of the plastic on this figure is plain. And then we got this big grin going across. There's some black eyeliner going around his eye. And this beady black dot on his eye, making him look really crazy with yellow. And just we got some bumps over here. It's kind of weird. I didn't notice until a while ago. Green Goblin head sculpt. We got some big ears on the side. That even gets indented all the way inside of the ear. Then we got this really well sculpted hoodie going around. Really well done. All the wrinkles are there, looking really cool. Now, for the costume, as before Spider-Man, this series is with the more fabric costumes, looking really awesome. Much like Spider-Man, he does have some plastic elements in his gloves, his man purse, his belts, and his boots. But for this character, I think it makes a lot more sense than Spidey's, because his costume is obviously all completely fabric, and like in the comics. For him, where it splits off into the plastic areas, I feel like it makes more sense. We got some hatching detail in between the gloves for more of a leather feel and texture. Looking really cool. I do think it fades a lot in better since the gloves are how they are in the comics, with the costume going inside the seams, as well as boots. A lot of really nice wrinkles, and we got the Goblin curl at the end of the boot, looking really awesome. More wrinkles on the back. Green Goblin's man purse also has some really nice hatching detail in between it. We can see the buttons, some stitching in there. Even on the side we can see some wrinkling, and you can unloop it if you wish to, but it does not open up, much like the Spider-Man Unleashed 360 Green Goblin figure that we have right here, which you actually could. But it's not a big deal. And the costume is really detailed as well on the green parts, because they have the scales, much like in the comics. They instead, much like in there, and then also like in the anime series, where this figure reminds me a lot of, much like the Spider-Man, there are these darker areas of the seams or the scales where it's much blacker, and then the other areas are much lighter green that you can still see all across the figure. Looking really awesome. Now for articulation, his head is the same as Spider-Man. It can only go side to side. His arms go out that far, and they do rotate forward. Here's the bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow. There's a glove swivel. He has hinged fingers, and they go in and out. He does have a diaphragm joint at the top and the bottom, so they go all the way front and back, and they twist all around. His legs are able to go forward, out. He does bend at the knee. His ankles go side to side, and they go up and down. So previously in the Spider-Man review, I had mentioned how I had a Green Goblin figure that I had previously cut up, and I could see the joints in the inside, and I actually found them right here in my old toy box. All ripped off, very battle damaged. You can see the sculpt underneath the figure, very muscular. I think it's the same as Spider-Man. And yeah, I basically tore it up, hoping to kind of have it be inspired by the Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie. But even though he didn't have this costume with that much battle damage, but I thought it'd just be cool to have. I teared it up all the way through the legs. I am thinking now about making a custom where he's basically bloody underneath all this, but I'm not sure if it would make sense because he has green skin. But yeah, there you go. There you see the difference. And you can see where the sculpt and where all the individual joints are. So included are two pumpkin bombs with really evil faces painted on them. It is just a flat orange, but I do think they're really cool looking. They don't exactly fit into his hand. You can try to have him have an open palm and hold him in between, But it does some really nice sculpt over here on the root, whatever you want to call this. But yeah, the faces on them look really badass. So this is basically the best way you're going to get your Green Goblin to hold the pumpkin bomb facing upwards the whole time. There's no way to hold it downwards or any other way. And then next to that is the Green Goblin from the Unleashed Wave holding the pumpkin bomb. So I just wanted to see what it looked like next to him, since I know he's kind of an upscaled figure with a huge hand. And yeah, I don't think it looks too bad. I could definitely have him display with him. Also included, as every Green Goblin figure should have, is his glider. It's basically his flat plastic with some really decent sculpt going upwards with all these rivets. Some detail between it, the exhaust area. Not looking too bad. I wish it came with some kind of like a fire base or smoke or something. Then we got the, I think it's a bat form at the front of it. Then we have these two straps which you want to get your Green Goblin into. And they're basically going to be supported by his Green Goblin gnome shoe things. And yeah, it doesn't do a really good job of holding it because it is lacking a peg, which I wish it did have. But yeah, it's going to dangle like this the whole time. I think I'm going to end up using some tape so you can hold it, but it doesn't look too bad on it. I wish it was better made, kind of like the Marvel Legends one where it has like this bend and curl at the bottom of it so you can get better on it. But yeah, it's just going to dangle like that the whole time. Alright, so this Green Goblin stands at 9 inches tall. Here he is compared to the Spider-Man of the same series who stands about a 1/4 inch taller than him. Alright, so that's the end of my review for the Green Goblin figure. I don't think he's all that bad. He does have some cons, mostly his glider. But his accessories are pretty cool. The pumpkin bombs are really good looking. The sculpt is really good. I really like the costume. The head sculpt is probably the biggest part for me that I like the most. So, probably as a collector and just an overall review, I think I would give it a 7 out of 10. Definitely not bad. If you did own or have ordered or maybe have persuaded you to get the Spider-Man from the same series, and yeah, he's the main nemesis. I don't see why you shouldn't get him. He's also pretty cool looking. Really cool looking, whatever. Anyway, this has been my review on Green Goblin. Please stay tuned for more reviews and stop motions, because next is Dr. Octopus, and after that, the Sandman. Gato Perro out.